It's a beautiful day in Lakewood Ranch, Florida for some football. Well, not the kind of football you're thinking about. It's the sport of Australian rules football. And for the 23rd year, we are gathered here for the United States Australian Football League National Championships. 44 teams and more than 1,000 athletes have made it to the premier sports campus here in Lakewood Ranch to see who will be national champions for season 2019. Good afternoon to our audience on ESPN3. My name is Brian Barish. It's great to have your company wherever you're joining us across the country for probably the best sport on the face of the planet, and that's just, well, that's my biased opinion. I'll be with you for all four games. Joining us here in the commentary position, a man from Western Australia. This is actually his 17th is what you're up to? Yeah, 17th national championships here. The voice of the USAFL Nationals, Rod Grillicic. Grilla, it's a beautiful day for footy, and we've got four great games ahead of us.
That we do, and the first one coming up between the Columbus Cats and the Boston Demons, Brian, Division 3 men's match, great conditions, perfect deck out here at the Lakewood Ranch, and blue skies, a little bit of cloud cover, wind from right to left, and temperature about 88 degrees, perfect.
Well, we have four games, as we mentioned. We have the Division 3, Division 2 men's championships, followed by the women's Division 1 grand final, and then we'll have the men's Division 1 grand final at the end. And before we get into that, we have this Division 3 grand final between the Boston Demons and the Columbus Cats. And Grilla, you've seen these two teams play over the weekend. Boston is in their first grand final of any type since they were in the Division 1 grand final back in 2003. For the Cats, they have a 2013 grand final in Division 3. They're going for their second one today.
Yeah, like it on the season, they're 5-4. Well, Boston now are 7-4 or 8-4 with their wins as the Columbus Cats are. They came into this contest 2-8, could you believe? But this is a different format to their play. It's a quick fire format. They played two games yesterday, a game this morning, and they progressed right through to the final. So the business end of the season starts. This is like a new season for these two sides, the business end, so you can throw form out the window.
Now, the league here in the USAFL, as we mentioned, we have over 1,000 players, and 75% of them are American. And one guy who knows a lot about the team, you're going to hear from him off and on today, is the head coach of the USA Revolution national team, Tom Ellis. And Tommy, I know you know both of these teams. How do you see this go today, and what are the American players are you looking for today?
Yeah, today I'm really looking at all the American players on both sides. Clyde Simpson over with Columbus. He was at last Cup. He's been to Australia playing. I'm really excited to see him go today. I think he'll lead a lot of stuff out of the middle.
Yeah, should be a good one today. And as we mentioned, both teams will have American players and Australians, as we said. Now, if you've never seen the sport of Australian rules football, the field is indeed gigantic. It's about 160 meters long by 130 meters wide. The object is to kick the ball between the two big sticks on either end. That's a goal. That gets you 6 points. And between the big sticks and one of the big ones and one of the little ones, that's worth 1 point. Grilla, there's three ways to move the football.
Oh, yeah, you're three ways. Well, there's one by foot, like punting in the NFL style. There's one by hand, if you will, if you correlate that like a serve in volleyball. And, of course, you can run it, Brian.
But you have to bounce the ball every 15 meters.
Exactly. So they are the three ways of which you can move it. Now, we're getting a move on here in the middle of the ground. As you can see, it's going to be to the Columbus Cats. Kicking to the right of screen, of course, the Boston Demons to your left, Brian.
All right, Division 3 Grand Final here on ESPN3. We are underway as Jeff Hampshire, the ruck for the Boston Demons. He's going to be like a center in basketball, and the ball got all tied up. The umpires who are wearing green will send that to the heavens, and away we go again. Hampshire again tries to go up for the football. It goes down, trying to extract that one there for Columbus was the number 30 and Nicholas Desjardins. He comes out to the near side, and P.J. Devine, who is as old as snake oil, as Grilla likes to say from occasion, he sends that one inside the 50-meter arc, and it's marked defensively there by the number 15, which is Tim Fullwider. Now, there's a number of players, including Fullwider, who plays for the team in Portland, Maine. They're also called the Cats that are joining them today. Right on the USAFL logo, just getting that one out away. Long handball back from Jordan Edmonds for Columbus. Just got his foot to the ball, and away they go up the corridor, Grill.
Keane getting it on down to the offensive region. They come out now, turn around, shooter back to 7.5 forward, looking for his number 2 there for Boston. Couldn't find him as Wood. 4 has got it now. You can see in Masery. Masery had nowhere to go. Handballed away there by the Cats. Going back in for more as the 14 for the Demons, and that is Barnett. Good defence by the Columbus Cats, though, protecting their defensive region and forcing the Boston Demons wide and out of bounds on the outer side right in front of the ESPN sign, Brian.
Yeah, and Samuel Barnett has been one of the up-and-comers for this Boston Demons side. They were Division II regional champions at the regional championship, which was back in Raleigh, North Carolina in June. And the ball's going out of bounds, and it looks like it's going out of bounds on the full. Now, if the ball goes out of bounds and it rolls out of bounds or it's touched, then it's a boundary throw-in, and we have an umpire over there who will chuck the ball back in over his head. But because the ball was kicked straight out on the fly, that's a free kick. And so the Cats take this one, but it's picked off by the Demons. Just got his foot to the football, oddly enough, and then out in the middle of the ground, and here comes Columbus, straight into the middle of the park. There are 3 players all converging on it. Boston able to get to it, little shovel pass back, and then that one will come up and bring some rain. That's John Newton, and the North Carolina John Stretch Newton, who's about 9 foot 3 inches tall and weighs about 50 pounds, takes the mark.
John Newton the second now, long line, centre half forward, smacked away, front and square, the Cats. The Cats are in town. The number 17 you see for them is Lyons Mayer. Couldn't get it out. They raked it back in. The umpire said there's no opportunity for the ball to be distributed out of there, so I'll walk on in, grab it, and toss it to the heavens. This will be like a tip-off in basketball. Up, and away we go. Demons versus the Cats, won by Columbus. Shark there by the Demon. There's Morton trying to make it happen at centre half forward. Boston seem to be in the van here through their number 17, and Keane once again. Long bomb, baby. That's a long bomb by Keane, and draws first blood on the Coopers scoreboard. So, here in the opening stanza, Boston Demons breathing fire with 1 goal straight. Columbus Cats yet to score, Brian.
Boston 6, Columbus nothing, and a beautiful matriculation of the football down to Barnett and David Moreton as well at the end of it, as you can see there. And I'll tell you what, that's how Boston has had success over the last couple of seasons in the Eastern League. It's just finding those players, and that's the key. Players who might not be familiar with Aussie rules football, it's kind of familiar. If you have the football, you're like the quarterback, you're like the field general, and if you are in the offense, you're like running a slant route. Ball comes back into play once again as it's picked up, and here come the D's one more time. Again, that one goes inside the 50-meter arc. One-on-one contest, running that one on, and going to get that one is Steve Ramo, and Ramo is able to get that one out, and, well, that is gone just out of bounds, and we'll have a boundary throw at about 30 meters across. Columbus is on the back foot early here, and Steve Ramo has been around the team for a while. He's their key in the defense grill.
That they are, and remember, Boston are kicking with the agencies of a 2 or 3 goal breeze, an advantage for them, and they might want to make hay while the sun shines, if you will. Defensive region there for the Columbus Cats. Here come Boston. 1 goal isn't enough for them, but chopped off of the pass by Columbus. Back to the middle of the ground, old Boston building a wall. All in all, number 20 is another brick in the wall there, and Devine elects to handball out the side door to the number 17 there, and Keane, been busy, slices one forward, didn't make the connection, but the ball stays alive. Keeping themselves alive, Boston right on the point line. Columbus as well. There's a free kick on the play for holding, illegal holding going the way of the Columbus Cats, Brian.
You're not allowed to hold a player off the football, and that's exactly what happened. So they're going to give the ball, they're going to give this ball out of the back to the Cats. And let's see if they can scratch forward. They find a target out there in Simon Leedston, one of the handful of Australians on this Columbus side. 3 hoop jumpers, and all by himself and taking an easy-peasy mark was Rob Adams, who Tommy is familiar with down there, who used to play on the USA side. In the middle of the ground now, the Cats. Now you can see them streaking downfield. They're trying to get open. Again, it's like a lead pass. And nice mark. Nice basket catch taken there by 21, which is Thomas Ness. So Ness looking to monster that ball. He'll try to go into the middle of the ground, just in short. Bounces off of the beautiful carpet here at the Premier Sports Campus. And then that one is banged out the far side by Sam Barnett. Ball goes to ground. Clive Simpson in there, number 5, trying to go after the football. Number 23, meanwhile, just got the ball away, and Boston will release up the far quarter.
That they do. Boston aerialist. They've got men on the ground too. Dodge the old okey doke and slice one, breaker, 1-9 on the forward line. Open wide spaces. Who got legs? Who knows to use it? Bootlegging around are the Cats to relieve the pressure. Out to their right half back flank. Couldn't get a good beat on it. The Cat lets Boston into the van. At the back door, they go to their backdoor man in the 18 for Boston, who is McCarthy. McCarthy settles and sends the Spirit into the sky long, but all the Cats. And they save grace down there and they're facing which way to go. The Cats, short, ace in the hole, 15 for the Cats. It's Adams. Adams wastes no time out the side door now, long towards the alley. Right-hand side for them. Ooh, almost a mark there by the 17. You could see there was Keane, being prominent. Keane now streaking away. Another slicing kick towards the forward line and makes the connection.
Nice mark.
With the number 14 there in Barnett. So Keane and Barnett have barnstormed out in the opening stanza of this first half.
And there you see, Grill, sorry about that. There you see that the team's, the positions, Barnett was in the back, and now he's moved up in the forward line.
Yeah, we'll get Tommy Ellis's thoughts on this match as we watch this hopefully sail through. If you're a Boston Demon, bang, baby, bang. Will it come back on the breeze? I think it has. 2 straight goals to the Boston Demons. The Columbus Cats yet to score. What do you see, Tommy?
Yeah, I think Boston's got to take advantage of the win while they have it. They've done a good job. They're starting to really settle down, moving the ball around and taking some good shots.
All right, back here in the middle of the ground as the Boston Demons have stretched their lead out to 12-0. And just to continue the thought, there's no offsides in Australian football. There's 18 players on the field. There's 5 lines of 3 going from defense, half defense, midfielders, half forwards, and players are free to pretty much go wherever they want. That is, Grilla says, it's man-on-man football. So players tag each other everywhere. Sending that one forward again. What can Columbus do? Nice, Mo. It's not paid, but he gives a little handball back there to the 21 in Ness. Ness is going to send that one inside 50 once again, but a great stop by the Demons as they try to get that one out in front of the beer tent on the far side. A nice mark. Again there by 14, Barnett. Barnett has been the prime mover for the men in the blue and the red so far. And a little shove, makes a little love, and gets that one free. Over to get it there, and just trying to protect stuff was Dean Panic. And Panic stays calm and gets the ball back.
Yes, Columbus now settling. Oftentimes you'd be nervous in the first opening minutes of a final. Columbus finding their rhythm when they got the Blues, but getting it there was Keane once again. Very keen indeed. Kicks towards left half forward. Who will arrive on the scene? The Cat, number 2, uses his body well to shelter from the storm is Remo. Still a chance for the Demons. 1-6, 16 Demons. Edmonds, will he get back in the secondary? He won't. They've moved the chains down towards the goal line, and it's gone to the left of the upright. Remember, it's 6 points through the middle, but this is off to the left-hand side and 1 point only. So now Boston Demons, a very handy lead. 2 goals, 1-13. Columbus yet to score, Brian.
Boston 13, Columbus no score, and it's not for the want of trying for the men in the white and blue hoops as they find in the middle of the ground. Again, that's Panic. Panic keeps calm, comes out to the near side. It will just find the field of play and tumble out of bounds, and that's what we were talking about. If the ball does find the field of play and go out of bounds, then we'll have a boundary throw. And you see the man in orange who's just going to line himself up, and the wheel in the sky keeps on turning. The ball comes back into play, and it's taken by Clyde Simpson, who's played some football in Australia in Jepperet Rainbow, and Barnett with a big left foot. He's going to kick that one inside, again in the half-forward flank, going out to get it now, and cleared out nicely. That looked like it was marked. It is marked there by the 18 and Declan Stimson. Stimson looks inboard. Hampshire is there to put a big bear paw onto it. Soccered into the middle of the ground. You're going to see a fair bit of soccering, but the idea is to pick the ball up, because if you kick the ball while it's on the ground and somebody has their hands on it, it's a free kick the other way. And it looks like a high tackle has been given there. A free kick straight in the middle of Cooper's Field here for the Cats.
Legality of a tackle is between the shoulders and the knee. They send the Spirit forward. A chance now to get on the scoreboard proper, not on the Boston Demon watch, and they whack it out of defence to the alley. Right-hand side, complete pass there to the big guy, the ruckman. I think that's the 31. It might be Dooley. Dooley now. Dooley delivers. Stand and deliver. The money or your life. The interceptor, though, for the Columbus Cats. Intercepted the route. Now looking for a lane himself. to kick this. He decides the location is the middle of the ground. Can they ride the highway? No, they've rocked the boat. They've turned it over, and it's over to the Boston Demons, but well read in defence by the Cats. They switch up to the outer side. One-on-one once again. Ball to ground. Mojo rising. Who's first? Columbus Cats create a bit of space and time. 2-on-1 situation. This will win out at the end. 18 picks it up like that, and that's Stimson. Stimson sends it. Good kick. Slant route lead and taken in front. Right on his heart there is the Boston Demon 22, listed as Matthew Young. So Young on a 45-degree angle. Breeze right to left. Holds it low, Sweet Cherry-O. Coming forth to kick this one home. Let's ride with him now, Young. Yeah,
baby.
Woo! And they're on the scoreboard. They move to 3 goals, 1. That is 19 Cats yet to score. And the breeze is strengthening. Keeping in mind that this is the scoring end of the ground to the left. Columbus Cats get their opportunity in the second half. Brian.
This is the Christopher Cross end because they're riding with the wind as opposed to the side that the Cats are kicking now,
Bobby
which is
Seeger.
the Bob Seeger end because they're kicking against the wind in point of fact. And I'll tell you what, right now, see, this is what we call in Australian rules football. I think we would call this about a 3-goal breeze. So each team is going to get their turn kicking with the wind, and that's what makes it so important. Back in the middle, back again here at the USAFL National Championships in Lakewood Ranch, Florida. Long hit out there by Stretch Newton, and a little tried for the handball as best he can. Remember, you cannot throw the football. You have to hit it out of your hand like a volleyball. Left-footed shot on the way. Yes, sir. And give that one to Patrick Keene. And Boston starting to pull away as they move on to 4-1-25. No score. Tommy, Boston moving the ball really well so far.
Yeah, again, with that wind, they've really been kicking with the wind, taking advantage of that. When Columbus goes back and they've been trying to kick the ball's falling short. So they haven't been able to get that ball back over down to their end. It's really affecting it.
25 points the difference, and Columbus, now these two teams play each other a fair bit during the season. There's a fair bit of distance between the two sides. As you can imagine, it's hard to travel, and usually the away team has won, but both teams are in the same boat here.
That they are. Ball in the middle. Cats. Can they win this one out of the bezel? The G-Shock. No, but they're going to shock the monkey out the side door. The Demons to the 26. The Boston Demons. There is O'Connell. Back into the centre. There's Simpson. We'll talk about him a bit later, Tommy. Boston Demons is ram-raiding through the pack. Columbus Cats are rolling more. There's a throw. So that's what you were talking about before. You can't throw the ball, Brian. Has to be like a volleyball serve, if you will. Demons in the fan. Look at that, flat range kick, didn't make the connection, incomplete, but in this game the ball remains alive. The money's at the base of the pack. The umpire comes in and says, give it to me, baby. I will toss it to the heavens. Boston Demons sitting pretty at the moment, 25. Boston Demons have been around for a long, long time. In fact, they were national champions in Division 1 way back in, I think, 98 and 99, before the year 2000. When Silverchair was serving it up. Demons now serving it up here in 2019 on our 23rd edition of the USAFL Nationals. 17 with a play fake. Boston Demons is keen to get his hands on a good smother by the 17 from the Cats, and that is Linesmeyer. And Tommy, you have a number of US representatives out there.
Yeah, we do. Rob Adams, he's another player, I think number 15 for Columbus. He went with us to London, was a really good player. Stork, the tall guy right in front of us, number 42. He's been with the USA team for a few years also.
Stork McClure, you see there, number 42. He's coming back after an injury 2 years ago, and I'll tell you what, we're keen to see him back in 2020 for the AFL International Cup. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, the Lakewood Ranch, that one is sent in by Madigan, sent up on the far side. Boston trying to add to their lead here, and the ball is kept in play on the far boundary. Centering ball by Newton. That's going to carry in towards the sticks, but it's marked defensively by Stephen Ramo, who takes the mark in the shadow of his own behind post. It's worth mentioning that if the ball hits the goal post, it's an automatic behind. The ball is dead. If the ball hits the smaller post, those behind posts, if it hits it on the fly, it's just like going out of bounds. If it hits it on the fly, it's a free kick, and if it bounces out of bounds, it's a boundary throw-in.
That it is, out of side, rough and tumble through there. No place for the faint of heart all body, heart, and soul. The soul man there, Clyde Simpson, gets in. Cat scratch fever at ground level, but the Demons win out the day inside their 50-metre zone. Got to keep your head over the ball. He did that. Cuts back inboard support with a backdoor man in AC/DC fashion. Didn't connect. Ball stays alive. Play fake again by the number 5 for the Demons, and Newton the second makes the connection. Side door, shoot, bounce, 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 and off to the right-hand side and through for a minor score. I feel they could have been a little bit more composed with that forward line sortie there, Tommy Ellis.
Yeah, I think he rushed it a little bit right there. The Cats are doing a great job defensively. They've got a lot of pressure down there, and they're holding up pretty well.
So that score again on the outer side. They are 26, the Demons. Cats yet to score, Brian Barish.
So after a behind, they'll put the ball back into play, and we've adopted the AFL rule where you don't have to stand in that 9-meter goal square. You can just take off. The big men fly, and the ball hits the turf. Keane again has the footy. Left-footed kick. He's got a man all alone, but airmail went a little bit into the sea or into the Gulf. I'm assuming the Gulf is somewhere over there. I don't know which way I'm going anymore. It's been a long 2 days, but that's okay, as it'll be a free kick coming out of the back. The Boston Demons, absolutely right, Grilla. 1998 and 1999, they were Division I national champions. 2003, though, was the last time they've been in a grand final of any sort. That was in Division I. Out to the near side they come, marked there by Rob Adams. He's directing traffic. You hear him trying to look for a lead. It bounces in front of Hampshire. He tries to paddle it on. Spinning him free there was Miller, and for Columbus, and the ball is cryogenically frozen in there just like Walt Disney's head, and we'll have a ball up right in front of us. 26 for Boston, no score for Columbus here on ESPN3 Grilla.
And the sting, the tempo coming out of this game as fitness now will play its part. Their 4th game in less than 48 hours, so oftentimes we see the skill and the tempo drop out, and oftentimes it gets down to someone to light the fire, baby, out there to inspire their charges once again. Sometimes it takes a little loving there by Columbus, and it does up to the forward line. Move the change, you could say, a good 40 yards up to the 50-metre line as we utilise both metrics and empirical systems for our collective audience. And the ball will be thrown in. And we had a very good shout-out yesterday for our coverage, and that was through Adam Woods, the pro-Australian golfer, I believe, Brian.
Yep, Aaron Woods. He gave us a shout-out. I know he's probably watching. He lives somewhere around here. Big tackle put in by Keane. The ball squirts out like a squirtle. That's how it works, right? Ball goes in the middle of the ground, looking up, and here they come. That is Newton and Mousery. He's going to send that one forward. The Cats trying to stretch all the way back. Now, he can go backwards if he'd like. Instead, he's going to come out to the near side. Wasn't well weighted. Drop what he should have taken there was Dan O'Connell, another one of the main boys here for Boston. Handballed into the middle of the ground, chipping that one forward with Stimson, and a nice chest mark taken. Now, he's about 2 kicks from goal, you would think. He's at the edge of his reality and said he's going to try to improve his position, but it dropped in front of Dooley. And, well, the umpire crosses his arms like the Monsignor. Will have a ball up about 45 meters out.
Well, Columbus Cats, you know, if they get on the board, get a couple late, they come home on the breeze. I mentioned Simpson. Simpson might light the fire, handballs through. Columbus Cats over the ball, needs support, trying to create his own space and time. Tackle, did he have it? Caught holding the ball. Prior opportunity. Savage rope pull and Brand to the deck. It wasn't neck high, it was between the shoulders and the knee, quite legal. And what have we got going on here? The umpire looks like he could be changing his decision. No, he's not, with the Boston Demons after that tackle. Demons standing strong, holding firm in defence, good across the midfield. Dominating the game currently are the Demons.
That was Samuel Barnett, who left the field with a head injury. Go on, Grill.
Okay, very good, Brian. Good spot. So this could be a time-on situation. It's not often we have time on at the USAFL, but it's up to the umpire's discretion. Tommy, what do you see out there?
It looked like Columbus was making a nice, good push there at the end of that. You know, this is the 4th game in 2 days. These guys' legs are really, really starting to get heavy, and it's good to see them. They're under pressure, and they're starting to really make a comeback.
All right, comments from the master coach there and Tom Ellis for the US Revolution. They're on the road to Melbourne. That's halftime here, though, at the football, Brian. So On the scoreboard on the outer side, 4-2. They'd be pretty happy with that, the Demons. 4-2, 26. Columbus Cats yet to score, but they're coming home with the breeze. That's the way it is at half-time. Tommy, do you want to have a quick little synopsis there of what you see with both sides and where it's at?
Yeah, right now I think Boston's Australian class is shown itself here. You've got some really good goals kicking from pretty far out. I mean, you've had 3 really big shots.
All right, thanks very much, Tommy Ellis. Brian?
And that'll do it. Halftime, Boston 26, Columbus nothing. We'll be right back for the second half here on ESPN3.
Do you reckon they know what they're missing out on?
They wouldn't have a clue by the look of them.
4 and 20, the great Australian taste.
Will you lay it all on me now? Lay it all on me now. Lay it all on me now.
Back here at the Premier Sports Campus in Lakewood Ranch, Florida. This is the Division III USAFL Division III Men's National Championship game. The first of 4 games we'll have for you. Of course, coming up next, we'll have the Division II Men's Grand Final between the San Diego Lions and the Baltimore Dockers. And Gorilla, this first half we mentioned, it's a little bit different in this kind of football. If you've seen football back in Australia, the grounds are a little bit more surrounded. The wind here obviously does a little bit more of it. It's almost like in cricket where they've set a target of 26 points. Now they almost have to just defend against it.
Well, that they will, yeah. I mean, in the pro leagues back home, sure, they play in the big stadiums, but in the leagues like the West Australian Football League or the Sandford, which are the feeder leagues, you don't get many more than this as well, Brian. So this is very much at the level of waffle, what they call, or state leagues, or just under it. A bit of the equivalent like in baseball, AAA, if you will. But, thanks very much there.
Yeah, and that's what it is that especially here, because we're in that open situation, Gorilla. We've got the the wind is taking effect, and you can see it on the flags out there, the 3 national flags. But so far, it's been pretty good so far, where we've got where Boston has really been working the ball inside.
Yeah, Boston all over the field. I mean, if you hear Tommy say the long kicking of the Boston and their Australian content, not only have they strong up and forward, their defence is well built, and they build a wall around their halfback. Haven't been able to get their game players, the likes of the Simpsons, who I watched Simpson there for the Columbus Cats in games gone by. He hasn't been able to break free. He's a bit like a running back in NFL footy, so they've really suffocated, Tommy, the Columbus Cats.
Yeah, a lot of pressure. He's actually playing on probably one of their better players. Clyde's a good example of a guy that was good, went to Australia for a year, came back great. That's a real good example for that.
All right, here we are, halftime with the Huddles. We're still live here on ESPN3, coming to you from the Premier Sports Campus at Lakewood Ranch here in sunny Florida, the Brayton area. In fact, if you can pinpoint this campus on your Google Maps, what are some of the things as a US coach that you would be saying, Tommy, to the Boston Demons being in front at this stage? Things like don't get complacent, etc.
Yeah, exactly. I'd probably play a little bit with a man behind, always be thinking defensively at this point. The win, you got to see how they come out right away. That's where I would be looking.
And if you're then a coach of the Columbus Cats, where's your head at with them?
For them, you just get right back to what you're normally doing. You see them all day, how fast they are, how much pressure they can put.
Yeah.
Now they just got to go right down the middle of the field and get some of those goals back.
Tommy, you're on the road to Australia for the International Cup 2020. This tournament, you're going to have your squad finalised in a week or two. But this tournament for you, I guess, really sees what it's like for these boys to be playing under pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good time to get everybody under one roof where you can see everybody all at once and really compare players.
Tommy Ellis there, Brian Barish, a man too who has played in 8 Divisional 1 finals with the Denver Bulldogs back in the day, big time player, and has also represented his country down in Melbourne International Cup, like you have.
Yeah, well,
As a
yeah,
caller.
different as a caller, and of those 8 championships, it's worth remembering that. They're going to be in the Division One Grand Final coming up. They're going for number 9. I'm sure you'll have some stuff to say about that, Tommy.
Yeah, it's really good to see. It's been a long time. It's been almost 9 years since they were in the finals. I got to play in 9 of those and won 8 of those, and it's exciting to see them back.
All right, back here for the second half of this one between the Boston Demons and the Columbus Cats. Boston leads 26-0. They're heading from right to left on your screen. And here with the start of the second half is Rod Grillicic.
Well, Columbus off to a good start as they open up the stanza with a fist of fury towards their centre-half forward position. Remember, they're coming home with the breeze. A gang tackle out there by the Demons. No way out of there, said the umpire to the Thieves, and we'll toss this up just shy of the centre-half forward position. Up, up, and away we go. Olay, olay, olay. Cats imperative that they get the first strike. Demons are hell-bent on corralling them up, and we'll have a secondary ball up between the centre and that centre-half forward position. Tapped away by Boston. Picked up by the Cats. They find a little alley or a window out of there. 13 escaping out of the side door for the Cats. There is Miller. Miller kicks forward. Didn't connect. Demons, Columbus Cats socket out. Holding against the Demons, going the way of the Columbus Cats. So the Cat wasn't in possession of the ball. He was held. A legal hold. Columbus now outside field goal range, maybe not with the breeze at their back, I guess. Let's see. That would have been the instructions. Like, we get the first one in the opening stanza. Gives us some hope and belief. It's 26-zip at the moment. Columbus load up that leather bullet, and it's on its way. It hits the big stick to the left, the goalpost, and that is one minor. Great effort from way downtown. They strike on the scoreboard, be it all a minor. They are 1 point to Boston Demons 26, Brian Barish.
Yep, Boston 26, Columbus 1, and that was a Wilbur post. Hello, I'm Mr. Ed. They'll come out to the near side now, will Boston. And they're going to redo the kick. Now, you see the umpires. Now, the one thing that we've known, especially all these games in the 1980s on ESPN, you'll know the goal umpires with the one-finger signal and the two-finger signal. It's been about 20 years since they've worn the fedoras and the lab coats. They look like cricket umpires. That's why they were dressed like that. As you can see, they've gone with the high-vis neon green and the baseball hats, but they still do the two-finger salute, as we say. Ball will come in up on that far side, spinning back in the play. Long handball back, picked up there by Stimson. He'll send that one in, and nice laces out mark there by Stork McClure, number 42. And, of course, Tommy, you just mentioned how he is, and it's great to see him back. I think this is his first Nationals in 3 years. The kick is on the way. It's across the face. It's touched. It's kept in play. But the boundary umpire raises one hand as if he's waiting to be called on in class. That means it's a boundary throw-in. It's Boston 26, Columbus 1 on the scoreboard, Grill.
Columbus with the chance here. Turnaround shooter didn't make the connection. Picked up by Boston. Let's get the hell out of here. It's there at their right half-back flank. Boston now move a little further down the line, make the connection with the number 2 who wastes no time. Will they take a bounce on the side, the kick up the line? Straight and narrow is the best way to go, but good mark at the back, running the same direction of the ball. The Cat being the number 60, and Panic pumps it, flat range 10. Columbus Cats. And that's Sleeper. Sleeper looks inboard, sees a man free, lateral to the midfield, didn't make the connection, ball still alive. Money out the side door again to the number 60 in Panic, like deja vu. Boston defending, undercutting the route, the 14 for Boston, and that being Samuel Barnett, Brian.
Who's back in the fold after taking a knock to the head. He looks okay. He can still see the stars. He can still keep his feet on the ground, as it were. Popped in the air. Dean Panic here at the disco, and he handballs it around. Now they're playing aerial volleyball. That's sleeper. Ball, cried the crowd. The umpire hugs himself because he's a good dude, and he likes to believe in himself. And we'll have a ball up right in front of the ESPN3 cameras alongside Rod Grillisich. My name is Brian Barish. Great to have your company. The first of 4 games here on ESPN3 this afternoon. And knocking that one forward again was Rob Adams. Adams, crash boom opera, and now emerging from the pack and chipping that one in was Thomas Matthew. He makes his home here locally. Little handball. It's like the Harlem Globetrotters. Throws that onto the left. One-on-one contest. Good job by the Boston fullback to get position. Umpire says play that in front, and it's kicked off to the side. Mark McClure once again, and he's the tall, thin guy. And Tommy, like you said, you're familiar with him. It's great to see him back after that injury. The score really quickly, it's 36-2, I believe. Yep, go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, a big guy like that hitting front and center. That was really good, hitting that front pack. That was really, really good.
Boston, which way will they go now? Right half back, attack. Who will get their wrap around it? Keane couldn't. Columbus barnstorming through the pack. They have players at the back door, send it back forward indiscriminately. Boston have dropped a number of their midfielders back to, I guess, fill up any gaps or zones that are there, and we'll zoom it out of defence. It'll bounce. Which way will it go? The 10 you can see for the Cats is Sleeper, being prominent. 14, this boy's even been better for the Demons in Barnett. Barnett, it's 2-on-2. Cats with a bit of breathing room. Ducking his head into the tackle was the number 2 for the Cats there in Romeo, but the umpire said, let the record play. Play action now on the wing. Simpson flew back to ground now by Train. Stuck on those rails, searching for the ball. Barnett for his second possession in about 20 seconds. Ball there is to be loved. Could this be loved? It is. 15 for the Boston Demons is full wider. It's wider. It's going wider. Boston Demons have it. Couldn't get a good beat on it. Allows the Cats in. There was a push and a shove in the side, but that's okay, Annie. Annie, that's okay towards the right half forward flank. They make the connection with the number 30. Tempo is picking up here for the Columbus Cats, and that's Deande. Deande accelerates the ball down inside the 50-metre zone at the back. The 33 is in the van. 33 for the Columbus Cats. There is Politz. Politz couldn't quite get a shot on goal before being rammed out of bounds. There's a free kick, though, with the umpire going the way of the Demons, though, I believe. Didn't catch it, Tommy. What did you see?
Yeah, it was really good. The ball's over on this side, and 2.5 seconds later, you see it on the other side going up the wall. It's really, really good.
Ball comes spinning back in the play now, and off the free kick by the Demons. They went up high, and Barnett again, well, he has taken more hard hits than on a Friday night. He's going to send that one up on the far side now. More hits than Foster the People at the moment, and the ball goes out of bounds in front of John Newton, and the ball will come in back directly across from us. Here at Lakewood Ranch, Florida, the breeze kind of now blowing across the field here. Still a beautiful day. The sun is still out, still shining. Barnett, and shining really well is Clyde Simpson, and he puts his man into the ground with a strong tackle. Not quite as strong as a garlic milkshake, but that'll do, Pig. That'll do. And the mark again is taken by Rob Adams.
Adams, breeze at his back, I guess. He walks alone, a thin line darling, as a couple of shadows from cloud start to follow. He hauls long but wide, and it's out of bounds, no score. That score again, as you said, it's 26-2. Now, Tom, going forth the Cats, I see they've been out of range. They haven't been looking for, their eyes have been raised on every occasion, haven't been able to trouble the scorer. Talk about eyes up, eyes down.
Yeah, once you get the ball, you've got to look up to see what your options are. You've got to look for that open man. They haven't been able to find that person in the forward line.
Back now as they try to advance the ball, move the chains as it will, but those are imaginary chains because that's gridiron football, and this is Australian football. That's a whole other sport. As the ball is sitting in the half-back flank, they'll look that one upside, up on the far side gathered, and they're going to try and form a little bit of a chain gang. It's a wounded duck of a ball, knocked down to ground. Going after that is Simpson. He is shoveled aside, and then again going after that is Alan Gardner, coach of the Columbus women's team as well, who fought well over the course of the weekend despite not picking up a victory yesterday, and that one is sent up high. Who wants it? Everybody. Who's got it? Panic. Nope, he panicked. The ball went to the ground. It got moved aside there, and then everyone jumps on it. It's dogpile on the rabbit, but then emerging, extracting the football there was Dooley. Dooley stays up the far side. Little handball, little hand pass. Doing Ari Jonik saw his prayer ricochet off and over and into the big advertising sign over there. Once again, it's 26-2, Boston the lead.
Tom, it's gone up a couple of degrees in heat too, affecting the players.
Yeah, you can tell right now Boston looks a little flat, and Columbus has really started to pick it up.
Boston, their turnaround shooter, no one in particular. It's there on the highway. Who's going to ride it like all afternoon? The Cats, like Moses, parting the seas. CC Ryder can see what the other cat can do. Comes to Boston, barging through the pack like tank. What was the decision? Illegal contact against Boston again, and Columbus, if they could only just trouble the scorer. They've had plenty of opportunities in their forward line. Can they break through this Boston defense? They can't. Boston, play fake action, out of side, tackle, just got his kick in. Here's that man Simpson we spoke about. If he could get in the game, do lots of trouble. Lots of bubble! Excuse me almost while I kiss the sky was the number 30 for the Columbus Cats, and that being Nicholas Deande. Right on cue, Deande. From front of stage, Deande walking up straight this morning, or straight. Straight, he says, I want to be straight, I want to be great. Balls of fire, will they light up after that kick? Waiting on the umpire. It's a goal. So 6 points to the Columbus Cats. They're first. 1 goal, 2, that's 8, versus 4 goals, 2, 26, Tommy Ellis.
Yeah, they can turn this around pretty quick if they get the ball, go right back down the middle. They're running out of time, but they definitely look like they still have the legs.
And, of course, the Columbus Cats were the one-time Columbus Jackaroos.
They were the Jackaroos. The women's team was the Gillaroos. And at the beginning of last season, they said, we want to be unified under one banner, and became the Columbus Cats. What's odd is right around the time they did that was when the Maine Cats joined in, and we mentioned Tim Fullwider. He is running the new team, the Maine Cats, that just came into the league. Now, we have a center square infringement. There is a large square in the middle of the ground. Only 4 players from each team can be in that square when the ball goes up. And in this case, Columbus had 5. So there is a long kick inside over the top. Couldn't go get it. Matthew turns that one around. Long handball out off the wickets there of Ryan Shoemaker. Kept in play. Barnett tried to go. That one was knocked down. Staying with it was Matt Wood. You would if Matt Wood could, but he couldn't. He gets it back. Throws that one on to the right. I heard a whistle, but I think this one might be coming back, and I think it is. As Wood, one of the prime movers, but that one is marked right on the line. So Columbus will have a chance to shake the Etch-a-Sketch and draw up something new. Barnett with a nice mark on the inside as he keeps the ball hemmed in. Took it over Thomas Ness. Barnett waits, little chip kick. Not the greatest of kicks, but a ball goes to ground. Who wants it? Everybody. Little handball, shaking and baking his way through is Declan Stimson, and he sends it into the middle of the ground. Nice overhead march as Jordan Madigan stretched to pretend he was 9 feet tall, just like Stretch Newton, and take the mark.
They switch it up there to the alley on the left. The 16 for the Demons, you can see, is unlisted. Sends a big bomb to left half forward over the back foot race, but the ball will tumble like weed over and out to the outer side. Right in front of the tent, it almost went. A big crowd gathering. That crowd is only going to get bigger as the day gets through. Here at Lakewood Ranch, finals to follow. D2 and D1 men's, and there will also be a women's final too, I believe, Brian.
San Francisco Iron Maidens going for their 4th in a row against the Seattle Grizzlies, who they defeated last year, and hoping to get a little bit of revenge. We'll have to see what happens. That's coming up at 3 o'clock Eastern Time here on ESPN3. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, at the Lakewood Ranch, in point of fact, ball up on the far side. Everybody on the intense side of the field because there are people over there intense. Get it? And then we'll have a ball up on that far side.
Maybe a little early, Brian, but to our right did get it. Keep up the action. Good work. Love your work on USAFL.com if you want to play this great game as well. USAFL.com, find a team by you. Meanwhile, Simpson, geez, they're wearing him like a glove. They know he is a danger man, hasn't had room to breathe, but maybe the tackle may have lingered on Simpson. Did it? Yes, it did. Contact was high. Simpson, with all the blessing and the athleticism you'd ever want. Look at that for a connection. 15 to Adams. He finds him. Adams taking his time, see somebody, like I want to dance with somebody, like I want to love somebody. And there was the love from the number 31 there in Dooley. Dooley, will he keep on rocking? Got to start reeling and rocking in overdrive. They keep possession, which is 9/10 of the law for the Columbus Cats. Thomas Ness revs it, gives a ride there towards within 50, makes the connection there. Complete pass, if you will, to the man when he turns a corner in his soul, or he plays on the number 18. The umpire said, no, you have to come back and walk the line. The number 18 for the Columbus Cats is Stimson. He says in Johnny Cash fashion, because you're mine, I walk the line on. It's way on down, and breaking through the goal line on the full. 6 more points to the Columbus Cats, and Tweedledee down, look out, Demons. Here they come, Brian. They move to 14, trailing the Cats that have been stuck on 20, trailing Boston, who have been stuck on 26 for a while now.
For quite some time, since the beginning of the half. And one of the things we were talking about off air is a lot of these goals with the win have come from beyond that 50-meter arc, which really doesn't mean anything in the USAFL. Just that 50-meter, just a guide for the distance. There's other rules in the AFL that's used for, but we don't play with those. Ball will come back in the air, back in the middle again. Columbus within 2 straight kicks now. Can Boston see this out and win their first title of any sort in 20 years? That's a long time, a real long time. Long kick down by the Cats. That one's going to send that one. It's going to roll. It's going to step. Stork McClure goes after the football. He's taken down there by Jordan Madigan, and he is corralled out of bounds for a boundary throw in 60 meters around from the target for Columbus.
Tommy Ellis.
Yeah, big guy getting out there. I mean, that kid's about 6'9". He just ran all the way out that way.
Ball comes back into play once again, and that one is wrapped up there. Special comments from Tom Ellis, who is the USA Revolution head coach, has been there for the last 4 seasons. Used to play for the Revos back in 1999, the original incarnation of the Revs, and went to 2 international cups. Meanwhile, Columbus, the kick is on the way. It looks good from here. It's touched on the line, and, well, let's see what they say. Waiting for the umpire signal. He's channeling the spirits. He's talking to the umpires. We have Hillary Clinton on standby, and he touches himself, pats himself anyway, and points out the one behind. So that's 1 point. If the ball gets tipped over the line, it tipped and then goes over the line, it's a behind. So 1 point for Columbus. That takes them on to 15. They trail by 11 points. Boston on 26.
That was a Divinal song reference without you knowing it as well, Brian, as the ball goes out to the outer side. Here come the Cats. Here they come. I told your mama that here they come, Tweedledee style. If we get a good beat on it here, the Cats say, well, not on my watch. The number 17, who says, who bootlegs around, and that is Keen. Keen to get another possession up the alley, like they kind of like flew, you know what I mean? Columbus Cats, who do you love? Well, they love that little Susie Q. Turn around, shooter, forward. Smash mouth footy, fist of fury by the number 15 for the Demons. And that's Tim Full-Wider, and it's over and out on the outside. Score check again, 26 playing 15. Nomination. The Ruckman have got their hands in the air, nominating that we are the ones. And the ball wants to become one of their sons. Glares Keen, splitting through the pack like lightning, splitting the night, and the thunder, or the ball rolled like thunder down under, almost into the flags. We're having the national anthems as well before the Division 1 final, paying our respects to all 3 countries involved in this tournament. The 23rd running of the USAFL Nationals, Brian Barish.
Yeah, we have the Quebec Saints and the Montreal Angels, who have made their way down to compete as they do just about every year. Quebec with a really good showing in Division 1 this year on the men's side. Montreal making it to the Division 2 Women's Grand Final against Philadelphia. And at some point, we'll figure out who won that, because that happened a little while ago on the other side of the planet. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, that one is marked inside their own 50. Columbus trailing by 11 points. 2 straight kicks will do the trick. So will that mark. They're going to play on quickly. You have the option, once you have the ball, where you can go back and have a shot, or you can just handball and pretend nothing's happened. You have 7 seconds to do that, and the ball goes out of bounds in front of all those chairs. Tommy, we talked about Tim Full-Wider. He's a player that you're familiar with. How great is it that he started up that team up in Portland, Maine?
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's one of the first things I talked to guys about was I need 5 more of you, and he's one of those guys that actually went out and did that. So super proud of him doing that.
All right, we find ourselves on the wing on the outer side, right in front of the Columbus Cat team tent. Toss in like a wheel, I'm gonna spin it. Assume front position, said the Columbus Cat. Scratch fever in the pack. Demons is that keen again in front of the scoreboard. Got bundle out of it, keen to get back in it. But again, now tired bodies and skills do drop out. It's going to take a lot for the Cats to get back in from here. Probably not that long to go. It's back in play. Ruckman do what they do. Who's going to do what's got to be done? Who's going to do the dirty deeds done dirt cheap in the base of the pack? The Demons send it forward. No mark at the back. The Cat, you see, is the number 2 in Romeo. Romeo revs it up, gives it a ride, wide and over and out on the full. Free kick, I believe, to the Demons, Brian Barish.
And point of fact, in front of the beer tent, which is growing, and by the time 4 o'clock Eastern time rolls around, when Austin plays Denver in the Division I Men's Grand Final, that place is going to be absolutely crowded. There will be somewhere in the neighborhood of 400,000 people over there, more give or less, as that one is topped up. The ball goes to ground, and that is that. And the Boston Demons, for the first time in 20 seasons, have won a national championship. They are your 2019 USAFL Division III National Champions. The final scores, Boston and Maine 4-2-26, defeating the Columbus Cats 2-3-15. And it's just that quick start in the middle, Tom Ellis, that quick start in the first half, and they were able to hang on.
Yeah, and they played really smart there at the end of the game. They shortened the field up by pushing everything to the defensive side, made it really, really good.
All right, back again. Back here we are. We'll wind things up here, Brian Barish, and we'll have a quick break. I believe that's how we're going to roll. That score again, 26-15. Boston Demons win their 3rd divisional championship. Well done to the D's.
Yep, absolutely. And the Maine Cats as well, who is paired with them as they win in their very first national championship go. Don't go anywhere. We have the Division II National Championship, the Division II Men's National coming up as the San Diego Lions, looking for their first Division II in a while, taking on the Baltimore Dockers, playing in Division II for the first time.
to call it because no one had ever done it.
Mason Cox, redshirt senior from Island Village, Texas. He's only played 6 minutes all year.
I went to Oklahoma State University, so I started out playing basketball when I was a freshman. I'd never picked up a basketball in my life, really. We played at the rec center, and there was a GA at the women's team, and she asked, would you be interested in helping out? Pretty much called the Dream Team, and they played against the women's team and practiced other teams and played against them. I was kind of like, yeah, cool, like, what do I get out of it? And she goes, oh, we'll give you a free pair of shoes and maybe some kit. And I was like, sweet. The men's team saw me training with the women's team, and one of the coaches said, who's that massive dude who's playing with the women's team? Like, why don't we have someone like that? I was in way over my head, barely could make a layup, and I was just a body bag. We got a call. They wanted me to go to LA to try out for this thing called AFL, Aussie Rules Football, and we both looked at each other and was, what the hell is that? And it comes up and it's like AFL's biggest hits.
Mitchell goes bang against Jermaine. Look out.
I would just kind of look at him and laughing and going, is this really a sport? I'd already accepted a 6-figure paying job at ExxonMobil, so I went to the tryouts. Everyone that was there was interested in myself. It became pretty serious pretty quickly. That week, I threw the cap in the air, you know, I got the degree on stage, made my parents proud. A week later, I flew to Australia and my life changed. The whole concept of me coming to Australia was just to give me a showcase of what AFL was. Saw my first AFL game, sat next to a North Melbourne player. He explained to me, you know, that's 6 points, that's a point. Hits the post, it's worth a point. You know, they point the opposite direction whenever they really mean that way. And at the end of it, I remember he goes, okay, cool, so these are the teams that are interested in you. Here's the contracts. Let me know what you think.
The international rookie's a whopping 211 centimetres, the same height as Aaron Sandilands. Looks quite exciting.
I remember getting on the plane, and I thought, what have I just done? I've just given up 5 years of hard work and thousands of dollars of education to go play a sport I've never heard of in a place I've never been with no friends or no family in Melbourne. They stuck a footy in my hand, and I thought it was pretty much rugby ball. Like, I had no idea. The kangaroo skin and Sharon is like the name of it, and I don't know. Like, it was all so foreign to me whenever I first started.
His kicking was quite average.
It was a crash course, essentially, of just what AFL was. Craig McRae and Anthony Rocker spent 2.5 months with me, and come around training the first day, it was sink or swim, really. We do this one drill, and you get it handed off to the coach, and of course, Bucks is the one who you're handballing to. Go to handball to him.
And I just remember looking at it, I looked back and going, okay, we've got a bit of work to do here.
I like locked eyes for a second. You know, I could just see in my mind, just, what if we recruited?
Players generally got a lot going on, but Mason's still trying to work out this new game, whether he fits, if he fits. Am I embarrassing myself?
But at the end of the year, I got to the point where I was thinking, I might actually feel comfortable in an AFL game. Bucks was the first one to tell me. They came out and said, look, you're going to debut. And that week was a massive week. It's Anzac Day, obviously, and it's one of the biggest games of the year.
The crowd's 90,000 plus. The stadium is massive. It just leans over the top here, so that's challenging enough.
I walked out there and I was ready to puke. I was that nervous. I was freaking out, you know. I didn't know what to do. And I was thinking, don't screw up. Just whatever you do, don't screw up. Don't screw up.
More low trajectory kick. Well, this could be a fairy tale.
Oh, mate, he's shitting himself. And I can't imagine what it's like to try and drop the ball that extra 1.5 feet to get it onto your foot.
My hands would have been like this, holding that ball.
Mason Cox. And he rides it home. What a beauty. Can you believe an American in his first game kicked the first goal on Anzac Day? Didn't happen. No, that didn't happen.
Not that we needed to keep him grounded, but it was our job to keep him grounded.
Stands at the MCG to steady this wobbling ring pass.
It's bloody hard. It's a big step from the VFL footy that he was playing to playing AFL footy.
At the end of 17, I was playing VFL, you know, I'd gotten dropped a few times, we were playing small.
He had to set himself a new goal of being one of the best forwards in the competition.
Saturday night football at the Coliseum. Come through Cox, drops what he should have taken.
Oh, he couldn't quite get at the big fella. Mason Cox here, guys. This was just off the ball.
I had the worst game of my career, I can probably say that pretty comfortably. I don't think I had a single mark the whole game, and had maybe 6 touches or something and get suspended for the next week. Probably a low moment in my life, I'd say, of thinking, did I choose the right decision?
whatever Mason Cox can do as a permanent forward, I suspect Ben Reid can do better.
I said, you know what, this is a last-ditch effort to show them what you're worth, to show them you can do this as a job. This is your career that you want to do for the rest of your life.
What a beast this Tiger has become on and off the field. 22 consecutive wins at the MCG. It's hard to get your head around it, to be honest.
We'd played Richmond twice and been overrun twice through the year.